So one of the classic pairings is a empath and a narcissist. And the reason why these two fit so beautifully together is the narcissist's sense of entitlement and emotional maturity has him or her really believing that how I think, feel, and behave is your responsibility. In other words, you the other. I am absolved of any responsibility. I have no empathy, and I am living fully in my own version of the truth. And you, the other, are responsible for managing it. So if I'm angry or upset or dysregulated, it's totally as a result of something that you've done. Now, as crazy as that sounds, the empath is on the other side of that coin. The empath has been raised in a way that he or she has unknowingly self-abandoned. So they are walking around in the world feeling responsible for everybody else. So they have the opposite psychology that says, oh yes, absolutely, no, gosh, so sorry. How you think, feel, and behave is completely my responsibility. So this dyad is so beautifully fitting. And one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, what is the birthplace of that self-abandonment? Like, when did that start in me? And particularly with women and women of my age, I'm at the midpoint in life, there were so many messages, overt and covert, that reinforce that. I had a client come from the UK the other day, and we've been working together for a couple of weeks, and I'm helping her on her journey of reclamation of self and reclamation of her own individual needs and wants and desires, and helping her to unplug from feeling responsible for her ex-husband and feeling that she has upset him, or she has angered him, or she has disappointed him. And we've met a few times now, and she came to me on Zoom and she said, oh my goodness, Katie, I've just found it. And she showed me her brownie mug from the 80s, which is like the Girl Guides or an equivalent that you might have wherever you are in the world. And on the mug, it said, and I quote, a good girl thinks of others before herself and does a good turn every day. So there you are. A good girl does not have needs and desires and wants of her own. A good girl does not say what she needs or wants if it's at odds with what somebody else says or wants. So if you ask a good girl what she wants to eat, she might say, I don't mind. Or she might say, what would you like? Or she might say, I'm easy. What she really wants to invite in herself is, first of all, am I hungry? Secondly, do I want to eat now? Do I want to eat with you? What do I want to eat? And imagine if we had a world where everybody was self-responsible and self-supporting and self-regulating, and nobody was taking responsibility for anybody else, but everybody was deeply self-responsible. That's what healthy looks like. And of course, at this point, I think it's an ideology. I don't know that we're ever going to get there. I don't think you can up-level the whole of humanity's emotional literacy. But I do think that is why it is even more critical that each one of us takes full responsibility for what we need, because even in the act of doing so, vibrationally, you are saying to your partner and your children and your extended family and your colleagues and the people around you, hey, I'm important and I matter, and I'm here and my needs matter. And I am going to, as I always say, be conscious and respectful and kind and considerate of what you need too. I get that I'm part of a greater ecosystem here, but I am not going to self-abandon and prioritize what it is that you need above myself, because that's how I turn my back on myself. That's how I don't get my needs met. That leads to bitterness and resentment and overwhelm and burnout. And truthfully, I think you deserve to live from a place of balance and joy. And that starts with the reclamation of self, the acknowledgement that you matter, that you're important, and that what you want is okay, not because somebody else agrees with it, but because you know it is legitimately what you want, and you trust yourself, and you are in connection with yourself, and you don't need anybody else's permission for that to be true, because that is true for you. So if this is landing with you, I'm going to continue to provide much more of this type of content. So please like and subscribe, and know too that, you know, there's only so far I can take the conversation in this way, because it is needing to be obviously in a collective way. But for each one of us, we have our own individual nuances and our own individual lived experiences that dictate why self-abandonment might be true for us. And if you're curious about yours, of course, you're very welcome to go to my website, where you'll find more information, but also contact details to reach out to me and perhaps begin that journey back to yourself with somebody like me in a more individualized way. Thanks for watching.